All right, welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Fahim.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all, and we are Good
That's
Rookies.
right.
I love it. That's great.
What's,
That's
what's
so
going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's episode 60.
60. Let's go.
60.
Let's
Okay.
go.
So
I
as you
have
can
to.
see, y'all, we have an amazing guest and he's excited. He's going to be lit on the podcast. Okay. So also drop a lot of knowledge tonight. So Fahim, please introduce who we got.
All right, so it looks like the podcast and the whole movement is growing. We have someone that we're definitely going to be able to double down on more and get to know a little bit more about him. And we do the For the Culture segment. But let's welcome Arman Vakili.
What is up? Sorry, I got to turn that off. I had to capture you. Why not? I love you. You're amazing. You guys, I'm blushing. You're going to have me turn off surrender.
What's going on, Arman? How are
You guys
you?
are awesome. What's up? What's up? Let's
Yo, you're
go.
lit.
I'm ready.
Like, you're
Let's
like, what?
I'm ready.
had his phone camera out. Like, I gotta record this while I'm on.
I was like, this is dope.
Dude.
Yo, look at this. I wish I would have caught I needed to catch the intro because that intro was so fire.
Oh my goodness. Don't worry, we got
We'll do
you.
it again. Good rookies.
Good rookies.
That's right.
Let's go.
Oh man, thank you, man. So we're so excited to have you. First of all, you're from LA, okay?
What's up?
Which is dope. You're West Coast. So we thank you for joining us. You guys are signing things. So as we get into the episode, we're going to talk about some amazing things. But as we know, it is preseason for basketball. We got NFL on lit. We got MLB playoffs. It's just a good time to be a sports fan, period. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would jump to the episode. Of course, let's talk about, Fahim, these LA sport teams. Take it away, Fahim.
Whoa. So
Let's go.
actually, let's start with the Lakers.
Let's go, bro.
Okay, Arman,
The
you're
squad is looking dope this year, man. I'm just
Okay.
saying. I'm expecting a ring. I feel like everybody in LA is expecting a ring with the type of squad. They have LeBron James, Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Davis. They have that. Just those four people should be able to like wipe everybody. But you still got to leave that little bit of like benefit of the doubt just in case they break your heart. And it's like, don't do this to me. Come on. Like, let's go. Anyways, I'm not gonna, but I can go on that. That's
so let me go ahead, Nelly J.
No, so question. So what kind of Laker fan are you? Are you the one that hates the Clippers or you just ignore them? There's thoughts on that.
So I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. We came here to America in '97, and my first ever exposure to American sports was young Kobe Bryant going to town. And like at that time, there wasn't really that much of a hype built around the Lakers yet because they were like building up to become a championship team. And then as they won their first three-peat together with Kobe and Shaq and everything, that was like when I was like finally getting sports culture. So the Clippers are nice.
He's being pleasant.
No disrespect to anybody. Just in case we get a chance to sign their account and like have Clipper accounts, by all means, I love the Clippers. You guys are amazing. However, I'm a Laker guy. I'm like a LA Laker person. If there was like an organized sport that I had to choose, it would be Laker basketball. That's basically what it would be.
Okay.
So let me ask this then. Have you been to a Laker game before?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Of the Laker games that you've been to, is there anything that stuck out while you're there? Any highlights or anything that any moments that you want to share of being at a Laker game?
Unfortunately, it was when the late and great Kobe Bryant was kind of like on his way to stepping down. So it wasn't like one of these like pinnacle Laker games, you know. However, the chance of seeing Kobe Bryant on a floor the entire time that like you're just admiring the guy on TV, he's this larger than life personality, you know. And our CEO Patrick Bet-David, shout out Patrick, he did the last great interview with Kobe Bryant. And it's like one of the greatest things. He came to one of our conventions. We got a chance to sit with him for an hour. Amazing interview, solid interview. They take a lot of sound bites out of that interview when they want to build up the legacy of Kobe Bryant. But just seeing that guy in person, man, just being in real life and seeing, it's like, oh my God, he's real. It's like an actual person. Holy crap. And he's way taller than you can imagine. I'm 5'10", so I'm like, for some reason, I'm like expecting a dude this big.
Right.
To come across the street and you're like, holy crap, it's Kobe. So
That's
yeah.
funny, man. That's funny.
Have you guys been to a game where you've seen any of your like favorite athletes play? Like, do you have a starstruck type of a moment?
Starstruck for me, no, I wouldn't say so. We're both Raptor fans, so
okay.
Yeah, we're in Toronto, and we're
sure
diehard Raptor fans. So for me, in the same situation where I've been up close watching Raptor games. Never, no one comes to mind. Vince Carter. When Vince Carter left, when Vince left the Raptors and went to New Jersey Mets, and he came back to Toronto for the first time since leaving on bad terms. Okay. And it's kind of iconic in the city where every time he touched the ball, I'm talking the entire game, all 20,000 fans booed every time he touched the ball.
Oh, when he came back, they booed him.
Yeah,
right.
because
my God.
Yeah, the way he left.
Right.
That's harsh.
I was there. I was
great.
there for that game. So that's probably a highlight for me. How about you, Nelly J?
Great.
Yeah, nothing. Like, I don't get starstruck, to be honest. I haven't been.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't, honestly, I don't know why. My spirit's not like, oh my gosh. I think, I've been to a few Raptors games. I've seen great players. I'll say the only player that I saw that I was like, I would say I got a little bit of starstruck wasn't in basketball. It was actually in football. Seeing Aaron Rodgers play live. Sure. The guy's a genius. Actually, so Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning. I was a huge Peyton Manning fan growing up. So he played in Toronto against Buffalo Bills. It was a preseason game, and I was like an idiot. Like, because it's Peyton Manning. Like, he's one of the greatest for me in terms of quarterback. So he was the closest one. And then, but seeing Aaron Rodgers, I was just so impressed at how great he was as a quarterback. Like, seeing him in real life on the field, like he's ingenious person. So so it was in football. Basketball, I was like, oh yeah. But football, I've gotten that a little bit of shot, a little bit, tiny thing. But
all right, Nelly J, I'm going to ask you this. To the Lakers, it seems like Arman is very optimistic with the Lakers pulling this out. Now, you didn't mention a year. You said they could win a championship, but you didn't say what year. Are you thinking this year?
It better be this year.
Come on,
man. Let's go, man. Let's get it together. Let's go. I mean, one of the dudes from Toronto that won the first ever ring for Toronto, and then left and came to the Clippers and started talking all this smack.
Yeah, Kawhi.
Right.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm not trying to drop names. But it's like, he comes and says all these things, and he's about to do all of these things. It's gonna and it's like, all right, dude, there's a lot of expectations. Like, people in LA have expectations. I feel like any major city, like a Toronto Raptors type of a city or a New York Knicks type, the New York Knicks, as crappy as a record that they've had look at her, as long as they've had the record that they've had, they're still like fanatic. There are certain people, those fans are, and you can't mess with them, man. No, you just can't mess with them.
Here's how bad the Knicks fans are. Go ahead, Arman.
No. I'm just saying, I want to put Jack Nicholson next to Spike Lee on the seats next to each other while they're playing Lakers and the Knicks, just to see what happens, and that would be hilarious.
Oh my God!
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say the worst thing with the Knicks are they have not made the playoffs in how many years, and this year they just won their first playoff game. They didn't get to the first round, but you think they won the NBA championship after each game. It's like ridiculous how they are so diehard. And it's weird because if you think about it, Brooklyn's in the same city. Brooklyn obviously doesn't have the legacy that the Knicks have, but
Sure.
Brooklyn clearly is the better team of the two.
They have a
So
squad.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
don't forget, right? Like for New Yorkers, Brooklyn is a New Jersey team. Like the Mets are certain
Oh, I
teams
see.
are not New York. Like Yankees is New York. Like Knicks is New York. The other teams are like New Jersey type teams. The Giants, New York. The Jets are New Jersey. Like they're like that. They have this like the Clippers and the Lakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like certain teams are just pinnacle. Plus, the Knicks was the first team, was one of the first 10 or 8 teams that the NBA ever had, or AB ever had in the league. So it's historical. It's just beyond. Like that franchise will forever be making a lot of money because the fans are so loyal.
Yeah.
But yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Lakers, to be honest, Arman, because your players are a bit older, I don't think they'll be a top seed only because they're going to be load managing. I think Emma's load managing this year. So I think the teams that are going to be number one is going to be Utah Jazz, to be honest. And I think
wow, hold on, stop.
Again, Utah Jazz. No,
let her finish.
But only guys, only because they're a better regular season team. They have wonderful defense. Conley will be back. They're 6th man of the year. Like that team is just complete. So what I'm saying is that they can play every single game because they're younger and more energy. The Lakers, unfortunately, cannot have their players play every single game. I think each team has about 20 back-to-backs. So that's about 10 losses right there because LeBron ain't playing back-to-backs.
So you're just assuming.
I'm assuming
that just because of the fact that somebody's a little bit older. I just want to hear you. Okay.
Okay. So hold on. So my thing, right? So my thing is that the Lakers are going to have to peak at the right time. When it comes to athletics and bodies, it has to peak in next year, like April or May time. To do that, you have to load manage. So that way, by the time it gets to like March, they're all playing at their top level to go into the playoffs. That's just how every team strategizes. What I'm trying to say is that the Lakers coming out will be slower because they want to have their players be rested. So therefore, in the playoffs, there's no ankle injury for LeBron. AD will not be injured. Like that's the strategy. They can't play their top players every game. Because by the playoff time, they're going to be all mashed up. AD's body is not equipped to play 82 games. LeBron body is not as well. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying in the Western Conference, the rankings will be, to me, it will be number 1 will be Utah Jazz, 2 will be Lakers, and 3 will be the Warriors.
And so, so you're saying that these are the top, you'll see that these are the top 3 teams on the Western Conference.
In the Western Conference rankings, yes. So into the playoffs,
yes. So now here's the real question here, okay? That was so professionally delivered
I'm just saying
that I can't even find a chip in that armor. However, I will say this. Who do you think is going to win the ring?
Oh, the ring. I think it'd be, if healthy, Brooklyn, to be honest. If Kyrie, I think Brooklyn will win. I'm sorry. I think Brooklyn has a better team than the Lakers.
Okay.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Let me ask this real quick.
As of now, if everyone stays healthy.
My first time here, I'm just going to be polite.
No. Don't be polite. I'm just saying. I just think, I'm sorry. I think the best team in the league.
Can we curse, by the way? Are we allowed to curse here or not?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
But I think the best team in the league is Brooklyn.
So now, I just want to ask this real quick. Who do you have in the West then? Because you said Brooklyn. Who do you have in the West? Just give me a name.
What do you mean the West? Oh, coming out?
Yes.
I think if healthy, it should be a Laker-Brooklyn finals. It should be that.
But hold on, time out. But you mentioned Utah, so I'm a little confused.
Oh no, so the rankings,
No.
So I'm saying like the regular season rankings.
Okay.
Is it the same as playoffs? Because
right. But
so I said the regular season rankings will be Utah, Lakers, and then Warriors, Denver.
Right.
There's the rankings for the Western Conference, and then I'm saying in the playoffs coming out will be the Lakers.
So you do think the Lakers will get to the finals?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, but I must have missed it. That's fine.
See, y'all are thinking. Y'all aren't listening. All I said, y'all, was that the Western Conference rankings at the end of the season.
Right.
I think Utah, like last year, number 1 because their team has good defense and they're young. That's it.
When you said initially, I was on the impression that you thought Utah was going to come out the West. That's what I thought initially.
No, I said they'll be first in the Western Conference. First with rankings. Yeah, like the rankings.
Okay, so that's just miscommunication. That's cool. I get you now.
Did we know? Okay. Yeah.
For me, I think I'm still with the Lakes, Joe. I think
sarcasm. You have such a calm sarcasm about you.
Right.
It's
Thank you. He's a jerk.
I just want to make sure. So you're gonna say who? Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. Just making sure.
But
And it's like, oh my god.
But guys, the best team in the West is the Lakers. But I'm saying they cannot play every player, so they're gonna not be number one. That's all I'm trying to say.
Of course. Look, no, it's just fun to mess with you. It's like you're like, no, wait, no, let me just explain. I'm like, okay, I get.
I know. This is why we're entertaining. That's why people watch podcasts because it's.
But I do think
like this.
Can we do a quick little tangent? I'm just trying to find out what were you guys doing before? Like, what's your professional background? Like, you feel like you would be some kind of analytics statistic person.
Oh, so it's funny.
Okay, go ahead, Nelly J.
Sorry, I don't know who I'm pointing to right now.
I know you're like, we're good. Okay,
Nelly,
so for me, my background is sciences. So yeah, chemistry, biochem.
Okay, sure,
but I work in sales, in tech. Tech
okay,
sales,
I see that too.
Yeah,
I see that too. What about you?
Mine, finance.
Finance.
Yeah. So we will talk also.
Let's do it. I'm ready. Let's go.
We are multifaceted up on the podcast, though.
You guys are awesome. Okay, cool. All right, we can go back to arguing now. Let's go.
Okay. For me, I just want to say I have Lakers out the West, and I do think that they have a very good chance of winning it all. That team is pretty much an all-star team. They're starting 4. I think they might have 4 all-stars possibly. So they're just stacked. And when you include the talent they have with age, LeBron, just everything in that, because sometimes age can be a detriment and sometimes age can actually work in your favor. In the playoffs, you need that type of experience. Exactly.
Experience under pressure.
Exactly. So
I agree.
That's why I think if I was to pick a team, I would go with the Lakers. Just off of that, I think they've kind of upgraded from last year, made a lot of changes. So that's that.
All right.
So 2 Lake shows and 1 Brooklyn. It's okay. That's right. Guys, next year, y'all better not hide from me.
No.
Not hide at all.
Nobody hiding.
Better not hide from me.
Here?
I'm just going to say.
No, but that would be like a sick playoff final. If it was Brooklyn and Lakers, that would be so sick. That would be such a great game.
Yeah.
Great series.
All right. So for the Rams, I want to ask real quick. You're an LA guy, your Rams. Give us your outline on what's going on with the Rams right now. Good record start so far.
Sure. This is new to LA. It's still like I think the Rams have been here for a few years at least, because the Rams Stadium has been like in process of being built for at least a couple of years. So I think they've been here for a while, but it's to me, I've been an Oakland Raiders fan the entire length that I've been a football guy. And that was because we didn't have an LA team. And the closest thing to an LA team was either you go to San Diego, you go to San Francisco, you choose Oakland. And Oakland is like black and gray. They look hard as hell. And they may not have been like the greatest record holders, but that was the team that I rooted for. I have to admit that I don't know what their squad looks like right now. I heard that they've been winning, but it's still, I'm skeptical. Like, I don't know. I'm putting my chips into a franchise that I feel like will probably give me a stronger win, which is the LA basketball Lakers kind of like a thing.
Well, to give you a heads up, Arman, the Rams are probably one of the most complete teams in the league. They got Matthew Stafford, which is a huge upgrade. So from Goff to Stafford is a huge upgrade. They've always had a solid defense. They have a running game. So I actually think the Rams can make it far this year with Stafford because I think he's never had a good team around him. So I really think you guys are going to be I think you guys should make the playoffs for sure. And you guys could probably make it deep in the playoffs. Yeah, for sure. And this is me. I'm a Broncos fan, so but to me, the Rams.
You also seem like you're a football person, right?
Football's
your game?
Yeah, I like football. I do like football. But so I think the Rams is a good franchise to invest in, only because I think they should. I mean, they lost against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals has really good defense, and they've underrated. Like they've been underrated by the NFL and these analysts for so long, but they're like a good team as well. But they won. I think they won their first 2 games. They lost last week. Sorry, 3 games they won. They lost last week, so. Yeah, 3-1, not too bad. But I think you guys should make it to the playoffs. Like I can see any other team beating you guys, to be honest. So it's a good team.
I'm rooting for Stafford. I think he deserves a chance. Been in the league for way too long without any postseason action. So
Heard it here, folks. We have East Coast people endorsing.
Hey, I'm a Broncos fan, dog. I'm a Broncos fan, but I'm just letting you know about your team. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm trolling, man.
Yeah.
I know you're trolling. That's why I responded. Damn it.
Let's go. Okay, fine. All right then. As long as we're on the same page.
Oh my
gosh. The Rams, they haven't done anything. When I think of the Ram, I think of like Eric Dickerson or something. I think like just like old.
No,
like
Kurt Warner. No, that's Kurt Warner.
Right.
Kurt Warner. Yeah, Kurt Warner was the Rams. Was he Rams?
Yeah. It's a long time.
They won when, yo? Like, yo, bro, like you're old. Act like it's a long time. How long ago did the Rams win that Super Bowl?
Rams Super Bowl.
It wasn't in Los Angeles though. That's like
no, it wasn't. I know, but I'm just saying, like they won. No. You know, I'm just saying, like their team hasn't been terrible. There's some like the Browns are horrible, but at least the Rams, the Rams have some type of like wins in them. You know what I'm saying? They're not that pathetic.
Well, on the way out with the Rams, I just want to say this: did you guys hear that the Rams or St. Louis?
2000. Oof, yeah, it was a while ago.
2000, right?
2000. Okay. Mm-hmm.
St. Louis, where they came from, is now. The city officials are seeking financial damages when they suffered since the Rams had moved to Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yes. So the city officials are suing the NFL, and I guess has something to do with let me see here. It says Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones allegedly conspired to develop a plan to relocate the Rams to Los Angeles, and convincing other member teams to approve the relocation. So I guess he's involved with it also, allegedly. But it's one to keep an eye on. I don't see anything happening of this.
Like
4 years ago.
Right.
So they want to sue because they lost the team. But if you were bringing the company or the NFL money, why? Like it's like you're trying to make them not move, and now you want to ask for money back. Like,
but what's I don't understand the basis of the lawsuit. Like, do they even have a suit? Because it's like if they want to leave, they'll just leave.
It's America. It's America. Arman, listen, in America, they can sue for anything. They can sue for anything in America. Am I lying though? Am I lying?
No, you're not. No, 100%. That's such a valid answer. And it's actually kind of like, holy shit, she's right. It's America. Right now, people are just, let's not go into it. Okay.
Yeah, they're picking at straws. It's a try thing. It's a try thing.
Right. All right. So let me ask in regards to the WFL, the World Fighting League.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Supposed to come out. Let's give just a backdrop in regards to it. So it's a new MMA promotion that's supposed to be debuting in 2023. And what they're trying to do is one of the problems in the fight game happens to be, especially in boxing, where you have different organizations, WBO, WBA, etc. With MMA, they have Bellator, UFC. They operate like leagues. And with this WFL, a World Fighting League, they're actually trying to have a hub, like a real league, such as, NFL, NBA, etc. What's your guys' takes on regards to this?
So can I start?
Absolutely.
Okay,
the floor is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so a few things to address real quick. The World Boxing Organization and World Boxing Association, I want to say, is like WBA, WBO. They're both nonprofit organizations. The reason why that stood out to me, because I was trying to figure out why UFC fighters get paid so little, like professional UFC fighters that do really well. I mean, like you're looking at a John Jones, you're looking like even the highest paid ones got maybe a few million per fight, whereas you're looking at boxing matches that they're taking away 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars, $100 million. And it's like, what's happening here? And it's the foundation of the organization. So UFC is a for-profit company. The UFC's gross revenues, I think the gross tickets that they got in 2020 was something north of like $4 billion, where the World Boxing Organization and associations each individually maybe took $1 million. Like, so you're looking at just a distribution of wealth going to the people who are literally putting their lives on the line, which I find so awesome and refreshing about this whole, what is it? The WFL, right? World Fighting League.
Yeah.
Right.
They want to give people benefits. Like they want to give you health insurance. They want to give you life. They want to do all of these things because they are trying to recognize the fact that if you're going to come into this ring and if you're going to break your limbs and destroy your face, and like, if you're going to do all of these things, at the least we can do is try to make sure that you're taken care of in that sense.
Right.
Fighters, up until maybe 5 years ago, have been looked at as like athletes that can potentially be involved in some kind of an art form. Before that, it was like you're throwing two animals in a cage and you're watching them beat each other. What's the point of this? And it's all some kind of stuff. There was a lot of scrutiny that they dealt with up until they got to the point that they're at right now. So more than anything else, I hope that this actually blows up and it ends up becoming like a really actual thing, because you know, non-pro fighters or amateur fighters can actually make a living now, but they're being taken care of in a more comprehensive way by the actual league itself. And then if they attract one big name, let's say John Jones says, you know what, to the UFC, and just bounces and goes to the WFL, the game changed. Dwayne Johnson just bought the XFL like 6 months ago. I am willing to bet that the XFL is about to become a real contender against the NFL. Because this guy is not going to make an acquisition like that and put his entire heart and soul into it if he's not planning on competing. That's not the kind of person that Dwayne Johnson is. And if he can buy a league and turn it, even if it's a number 2 to the NFL, it's going to be insane as far as the growth that they're going to have with that investment. So things like this, I think, are going to end up making like a really, really big change when it comes down to. And then, I mean, there's another, I don't want to jump ahead, but the other topic that we had about the tattoo and just even what's happening in that world and the type of attention that they're bringing in. Now you're having, you know, random YouTube celebrities fighting each other and drawing big tickets. So it's like, it's crazy. What's happening in the fight world is insane. I think it's amazing. It's going to be really entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, you said everything I wanted to say. I'll just add a few things. The first thing I'd like to add is, yes, I'm all about paying these fighters because, you know, CTE, there's things that they can there's high risk in these types of jobs. And like you said, the average fighter does not make a lot of money. They're not wealthy. So the fact that, you know, the revenue will be shared amongst the fighters, I love it. One thing I like already is that there's already been 6 owners that signed paperwork to be a franchise owner. Dope. And they also want to have a fighters union. Amazing. So that way fighters have rights. On top of that, the fact that I like the fact that there'll be 4 conferences, one North America, South America, Europe and Africa is one, Asia and Oceania is one, and that each roster, they're going to have 24 athletes with 3 fighters per weight class through each conference, but have a minimum of 8 teams and no more than 24. It's organized. It's like a NBA or like an NFL league, but a global league. And I think this could be the first global official league. Also have the soccer, of course, and football, but the next like global league combining it. And I think because of this, they can take a lot of fighters from UFC and other competitions. So I'm loving it. If I'm the UFC, I better I better change my business plan because this is going to compete against you for sure.
Dana White needs to come up out of them pockets. Like you need to, you need to put a little bit of money on the table here. He's gonna for sure. The way that California is losing people to Texas and Florida, like businesses are just running out of California. People are gonna do the same thing in the UFC. If they find out that for a fight, anyways.
You guys both covered all bases of things that, as you're speaking, I'm making a mental check, like, okay, correct. And now I really don't have anything else to add. Like you guys, awesome job hosting, guys.
Let's go, Nelly. We got it.
Got it, Arman. Oh,
what's up?
All I would like to say is I did not know prior to this that the fighters were operating under these conditions. I just kind of assumed that they had health insurance, and they're like, I'd assumed that because they don't tell us this like behind the scenes, there's things happen with fighters that we don't know. We might know their purse that they're getting, et cetera. But I'm actually more really shocked and actually relieved by this league actually doing this now, because imagine you're a fighter who's putting yourself in harm's way and doing it as a profession to entertain, and just the fact that these things aren't covered just as regular employees, it's kind of astonishing. But let's salute the WFL for this, and I really do think it's going to take off. They do have one hurdle I think they have to get over is Arman, you said it best. We're getting one person to come over. You mentioned John Jones, who obviously we've, if anyone hasn't heard, he's had a lot of run-ins with the law, and the USC seems to be giving him a longer leash, maybe because of who he is and what he's accomplished with the UFC. But I think getting that one big piece to come over may be a hurdle, because I think the big pieces or the big fighters, they're already, I think, compensated. I think it's more for the ones who aren't fighting the big prize fights. I think they might be benefiting, might find this more beneficial than maybe one who's already comfortable already and saying, well, you know what, I'm already a big draw already, so what's my purpose to go over to the WFL?
The purpose to go is that you get 50% share revenue, bro. So the bigger you are, more money you make. It's just numbers.
Go ahead,
Arman. Say something on this, because I know we're like on time.
Right.
So the time where I was professionally competing, so I've been competing for maybe 10, 15 years. I've been practicing martial arts, and there was a stint where I was actually competing on a national level, and there were international fighters that were coming as well. This is for the WKF, the World Karate Federation, and we didn't get paid at all. Nobody got paid at all. The top prize was you would get a trophy and you would get bragging rights. But there were people that would come over from third world countries that had rags for their gis, that were whooping everyone's, like, horrible. It wasn't even a competition. And what I think might possibly happen is that people who may have made some nice money in the UFC will see the fighters, the dog fight that's inside these people, and the type of fighters that will get attracted into this league. And they'll be like, just for the art of it, just because I really want to test myself and see if I really am the best fighter. Because there's an ego play that happens with fighters. You don't have a team. It's just you and another dude, and you're in a cage. And if you win, you own the win. If you lose, you own the loss. And that piece of, am I really the best fighter? Am I really? And it's like that. I think is going to bring people to the new league. And that's it. 25 seconds.
Well said, Arman.
Arman, thank you, bro, for that expertise.
Thank you.
So, Nelly J, you want to go to For the Culture?
For the culture, we like to highlight individuals for the culture. And today, we get to highlight Mr. Arman Vakili. So Arman, first of all, I was very impressed with everything that you're doing. So for the folks who don't know who Arman is, I'm going to break it down, okay? He's an entrepreneur. And what he says on his Instagram, because I want to quote people, he says, I turn seeds into trees and underdogs into champions. He's an estate planner, asset manager, insurance broker. Free financial strategy sessions are available, and he's always hiring. He also has a company, which I was like, he founded it, Nahesh Agency. Okay, what they do, they give individuals and companies access to modern tools and strategies that adds directly to their bottom line. And how they do it, y'all, asset management, asset protection, and income generation. Please just welcome Mr. Arman to For the Culture.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm taking her on tour, bro. Are you kidding me? Like, this is the greatest intro ever. Are you serious?
Listen. So Arman,
oh my goodness.
So Arman, I love talking to entrepreneurs because I think it's so unique how, your story. So how did you become, and first of all, you were a fighter, and now you're an entrepreneur. So how did that transition work? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Born and raised in Iran, moved here in '97 with my mom and my sister. We came here for the American dream. It was not the land of all jobs to us. This was the land of all opportunity. I came here because my family tree did not see wealth before me. Like, this is one of the things that, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, because a lot of people in America are first generation millionaires, and they did it from the ground up because they had to. And that story is so relatable. There are so many people across the world that still idolize America for that. And that's why we came over here. And I was a pre-med student. If anybody that listens to this, if you're Middle Eastern, you fully understand what's up with that. You're either a doctor or a lawyer or an attorney or like an engineer or something. And if you do none of those things, you're a failure in the eyes of the family. That's basically what it was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into pre-med. And our family made too much money to get financial aid or grants or anything like this, but we didn't make enough money to pay for med school. So I had to get a job. First job I ever got, teller at a bank. And I got exposed to the financial services industry. This was pre-2008, before the crash happened. And branch managers were clearing $130,000, $150,000 a year. Guy would show up at 11 o'clock. He would leave at 3, barely worked the entire time that I was there. I'm like, I want to do that.
Right.
Forget going to school for 12 years, coming out $500,000 in debt. I want to go do what this guy's doing. So I worked my way up the corporate ladder. Claim to fame, I brought in $40 million in deposits into the bank. Just out of curiosity, how much do you guys think I got paid as a commission or a bonus? I always like asking this question.
I would say
40 million.
Yes.
The banks, I would say like you got paid maybe like 0.25%
No.
for commission.
Look, you see how he's laughing? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, what's your answer?
You want a number or you want a percentage? Because she gave the percentage.
Whatever comes up to my first thing that pops up in your head.
To be honest, this is the bank. I'm gonna go with $8,000.
Okay, he was closer. There was no percentages paid out. It's a flat fee per account that you open. So it's like $50 per account, $100 per account. When I found out what would happen if that money was under my own management, under my own license, I went into depression, because it's millions of dollars in difference.
Of course.
And that was the time where I was like, you know what? I'm going into business for myself. Shout out Deji Bancole, my business partner. Just dropped in.
All right.
It's all good.
I'm going into business for myself. I'm going to get my license with the state, and I had to find a decent enough broker to work with. I'm not sure if you guys know, but like Wall Street type brokerages make you do a lot of work before they give you autonomy, before they give you the type of contracts that they get. And I've already been abused in the banking system. Like the last thing that I wanted to do was go into another environment like that. So the first couple of years were rough, but we are where we are now. So I'm grateful for it. The fighting thing was always a recreational thing, because I was just trying to get rid of the angst and anger and depression and all that. And fighting, believe it or not, is so great. It's like therapeutic. You go into it, you come out of the session, you love the world. It's like, it's an amazing thing. But other than that, it was
Skipping
like
on the road.
What? Say that again.
No, I was saying like after like you fight, like you're skipping down the street, like singing in the rain, you know?
you leave it all in the ring. You like all of the aggression is gone, and you're out. Hey, let's go. Very, very calming. But yeah, that was really it. And after being in the broker game for some time, I found out that there's certain pieces of information that's really just reserved for the top 1%, and they don't share it with anybody else. And it's not because other people can't afford to do it. It's because if they find out, that means it takes power away from the top 1%. So and so that became the passion. It's like, I'm going to share this. If you have $100 to your name, we're going to figure this out together. I'm going to share all this information with you, and you're going to learn how to grow from there. So we've been blessed. It's been a nice journey so far.
So your IG, officially Arman, I noticed going through that, so you just mentioned about how you're, just pretty much giving free game, just like trying to educate people and like let people know maybe there are different options they have. I do notice going through, there's a lot of tax. You talked about the IRA, retirement accounts, etc. Right?
Sure.
Now we're in Canada, you're in the United States, and we have listeners, all around, like in different parts of the world, right? I'm just going to ask, is there something that you like maybe I don't know if it's a quote or a saying or something to you that for you that you'd have that isn't, can't be just confined to one geographical region. Because in Canada, our laws are different than the United States, etc. Is there something in regards to finance or maybe just anything, forget finance, just anything that you feel that's universal, a universal
rule?
Yeah, rule or just a goal or just something that you can give everybody?
It's a great question. I'm gonna go like a little bit higher law with this because I think that would probably be universally applicable.
Okay.
First and foremost is the philosophy and belief system that wealth is available to you wherever you are. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. Wealth is available and it's accessible. And more often than not, it's your belief system that either enables you or prevents you from getting access to that wealth. So if you're in a third world country that doesn't get access to any kind of internal infrastructure or opportunity, you probably get tourism that comes through your country. And the tourists that visit your country are not slackers. They're people that have done something in other parts of the world. And so you can rub shoulders with people like this. You can be audacious and you can speak up and say, teach me what you did. How can I get some of the opportunity that you got? That anybody can do. I don't think that's limited to anybody in particular in the world. Now, the second part of it is learn how to establish an actual enterprise for yourself. This you can probably do anywhere. You can learn how to build a business, how to buy something for $1, sell it for $3, then go buy 3 of those things, sell them, and just keep flipping and keep flipping. And next thing you know, you built a little bit of a hustle, like a side commerce. I think it's different than owning a system that makes money for you. So that would be like the next level to graduate to. But wealth is accessible, and it really has simply to do with what your focus is on. And if you want to change time for money, if you want to exchange time for dollars, you're probably going to have a tough time getting wealth. So if you learn how to be transactional, if you learn the flip game, if you learn how to do certain things that usually seem to be reserved for people who have millions of dollars and all, it's like, it's not really the case. Like, anybody can Google anything on their phone. If you're watching this, you have, if you're listening or watching to this, you have so much more opportunity than you give yourself credit for. And that little device, this little thing right here, people are making millions of dollars out of this little thing.
Yep.
Facts.
You don't need to have, like, you really don't need to have access to like specialized information. That's one of the things that I think people, there's like a stigma around making money. That people think, oh, I just need to know exactly the thing.
Yeah.
Like, not really. You just gotta hustle. Like, let's go. Let's go.
Honestly, I love what you just said. If you're trying to exchange time for money, you can't be wealthy. That right there, like, guys, put that on your wall, because I think people, we've been brainwashed. I always say, like, the education system is like a programming hub where they program kids to become robots in this system, in this rat race, right? Because we're taught, you get older, get a job, work 9 to 5, go home to your husband and wife, cook, clean, go to sleep, have sex, maybe not, who knows? But go to sleep, wake up. It's like, that's what it is, right? So I feel like, I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real, right? Procreation, procreate, have children, and then back to again. So I think really the whole idea, you're laughing. What's so funny? Guys, stop laughing at me.
Like, you threw it in there, so like a casual, it's like such a casual thing.
Yeah, so actually,
you can survive. You can survive and food. Have sex.
Have sex. It's a part of life, right?
You can do all these other things.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you know me. I keep 100. But yeah, so I feel like understanding that making money, there's other ways to make money from not just from your time. That's huge, Arman. So thank you for dropping that gem, for real.
Sure.
Definitely.
My pleasure, yeah.
On the way out of For the Culture, I just want to ask a quick question. I did notice you have a pet squirrel. Do you still have this pet squirrel?
And what's his name? And what's the pet squirrel's name?
I have some questions.
A lot of questions about the pet squirrel.
Yeah, so let's be clear here, okay? We did not purchase the squirrel. It was a rescue. It was something that literally fell out of the tree from the yard. It wasn't anything like that.
Right.
And we no longer have it because we just wanted to make sure that she was taken care of, and we released it back into a good environment so that squirrels aren't supposed to live inside a house. So
no, they will mash it up.
Part of it.
They'll mash it up.
Yeah, I did see the squirrel was on your keyboard, and I was just like, wait a second, is that a squirrel? And it was actually And I was like, oh, I'm thinking if I had a squirrel, like I would Google and say, well, what do you feed a squirrel, and et cetera, et cetera.
Of course.
Yeah. How long did you have it, by the way? Was it a matter of just?
It was maybe 2 weeks.
Oh wow, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
It was fun, man. It was like one of the most surreal experiences ever. It's like, yo, there's a squirrel in the house. Like, we have 4 dogs, and then sometimes you kind of feel a little bit of a, what's that word? Sentience, right? Like you feel a little bit of a sentience coming off of a dog, and it's like, wow, there's another spirit in here. It's another creature.
Yeah.
You have a squirrel in the house. It's like, yo, you look cracked out. Like you can't sit still, and you're running. There's another spirit in the house. Like that was just the surrealness of that. I was like, this is amazing.
Nice.
I'm laughing at, he has 4 dogs and a squirrel, y'all. Well, I said a squirrel and a turtle. Lord. So not only he's an entrepreneur, this guy's also like, a pet detective.
Come on, man. You got to.
You know what I'm saying? Pet detective, Armand, right?
You guys have any pets?
No, I ain't got no pets. No.
Nothing? Not even the goldfish or something?
No, honestly, I had pets growing up. And Dad has pets in New York, which I see, but nah, no pets for me. Because I feel like I don't have time to take care of it. Pets need time. They need your love. They need everything. And I ain't got that time. I'm sorry, pets. But one day I'll have a pet. But I do love dogs. Like, dogs love me. Like, I was sitting on like a patio, and this dog walked up to me and just started barking at me and smiled. I was like, hi. Like,
yeah, let's
what's
play.
up?
Like,
like dogs love me, yo. It's crazy, yo.
Yeah.
All right. So let's close out of for the culture.
Yes, and let's go to the next one. That's absurd.
Let's go to That's Absurd.
That's absurd for him, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd?
That is ludicrous. What is this obscenity? Let's go. I like this. You guys are dope. Let's go.
Tyron Woodley.
Tyron Woodley.
Tyron Woodley had a tattoo. Actually, let me backtrack. Tyron Woodley lost in a boxing match to Jake Paul. A match that going in, he was the heavy favorite off of his past experience. And in his confidence, had made a bet during the weigh-in and press conference saying that if he loses, he will get Jake Paul, I love Jake Paul, tattooed on his body. Going in, not expecting to lose, and losing in front of the entire world. And eventually, just last week, getting I love Jake Paul tattooed on his middle finger.
Correct.
Tyron Woodley, absurd.
Absurd.
And so you did hear, I'm sure, that Jake Paul is saying this is not a valid tattoo and it doesn't meet the original terms of our contract. Therefore, I will not have a match with you again. Yeah. Because it was supposed to happen.
So what was the terms of a tattoo? Like
basically, so it's a few things, right? So this is absurd. It's absurd. Okay, this is basically what happened. So the original rule was, number one, it needs to be tatted on you in a way that you can see it without, like, if you're wearing like boxing attire, right? So it needs to be visible. The second one was that it needs to happen, I think, within like a 24 to like 48 hour period after the fight. So if you lose, the next day or 2 days, you need to get the tattoo. And weeks passed. So Jake Paul's response is, the hype died down. You were supposed to get the tattoo so that we can build on the hype and then build on the PR. Because you got to admit, they're really, really good at publicity.
Yes.
And so he says, no, I'm not going to fight you again. And now you have this permanent tattoo. And the tattoo is right here on his middle finger. And it looks like it could easily be turned into a fuck Jake Paul tattoo. Jake Paul. Right. And so he's like, I know what he's trying to do and all this different kind of stuff. So but anybody could have told you that. Like, why would you do that? What's the word? It's absurd.
Absurd.
Honestly, first of all, like, this is just absurd. I have no words. Woodley, why would you even do this bet? Like, and I feel like Jake Paul keeps fighting these tiny, like, it's like, why are these guys trying to fight? They think boxing is easy. And it's really weird to me. It really is weird. Like, honestly, guys, like, you could listen, you could be a great athlete in your sport, but fighting a professional boxer like Jake Paul,
No,
whatever,
no, no.
but YouTube star.
I have to stop you for a second. You said a professional boxer like Jake
Well,
Paul.
no,
He's a
I know, but
professional
I know, but
YouTube.
sorry, I know. As I said, YouTube boxer, okay, but he makes millions from it. So so I feel like, when will it be YouTube to pro? I feel like in boxing it's going to be pretty close nowadays because he's making more money than other boxers. No,
so let's rewind for a second. Tyron Woodley, he's a legend for MMA, right?
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, but like,
we've watched him before get punched in the face. We've watched him dish out punishment and take punishment.
Yes.
So going into this match, I thought for sure Tyron Woodley's gonna knock Jake Paul's.
I was opposite of you. I thought opposite. Okay. I did not think he's gonna win.
Arman, what do you think going in, honestly?
Okay. So there are certain things that happens in MMA fights that are just fundamentally not allowed in boxing fights. And for that reason, and here's the other piece to this that I think is probably like the really much bigger piece. And there's a book called Trust Me, I'm Lying that I highly recommend you guys read because it's really, really powerful behind its explanation of how people manipulate the media. And I think that these guys are masters at manipulating the media. And the idea is to set up fights over and over and over again that they will not lose. So the Jake Paul team doesn't want him to experience a loss. If he does experience a loss, it's going to be against somebody who's like a freaking world champion. And then he's going to come out and say, yeah, but he's a professional fighter. He's like a world champion. That's why I lost. But up until this point, their opponents have been so carefully selected. And
short. Let's be real.
Freaking his brother Logan Paul is gigantic and he fights Floyd Mayweather. Like, come on.
Doesn't make sense, guys.
If we go back to the Mayweather-McGregor fight and the way that fight went, and everybody is like, oh yeah, but what if he just gets that one hit? He's gonna knock out Mayweather. And he's like, I don't think you guys understand. These types of punches don't exist in boxing. It's called a rabbit punch or a hammer fist is what they call it. You can't do that in boxing. This is what these guys are trained on. To train somebody, all you got is your jab, you got the cross, you got your hooks, maybe just to train them on these things. And then this is all you're limited to when you've been fighting with your entire body this entire time. And this dude has been focused on just those 4 or 5 techniques. It doesn't work like that. Everybody knew that Mayweather was going to wipe the floor with McGregor. It's because he was trained to be a boxer. So if somebody comes out and says, hey, Jake Paul, come into an MMA fight, which he'll never say yes to. He will never say yes.
He will die. He will die.
Yeah.
He will be destroyed. They will pummel him.
Yes.
Right.
So he's going to say, I'm going to control all my variables. Whoever comes into the ring with me, the last guy that he had before Tyron Woodley was a wrestler. The guy he didn't know how to fight. He looked so out of shape. And he came and one punch across and he knocked him out, excuse me. And everybody's like, oh my God, Jake Paul is a great fighter. It's like, no, he's not. It's not the fact that he's a great fighter. It's just he's calculated. He makes his moves in the right sequences. That's what I think we can kind of accredit to this person. Not necessarily that he's an amazing fighter. I just think that they're too calculated to put themselves in a situation where they would lose.
Yeah. And to add to what you said, like for me, people love to like, I feel like people should respect boxers more because boxing to me is like waltz and music and dancing. So if you're a dancer, like waltz, you have to be a specific like form and timing. Like boxing to me is like dancing, like their movement, your timing. Like Floyd Mayweather was a great boxer because his defensive tactics was amazing. You weren't touching this guy. He will wear you down for the first 8 rounds and then knock you out. Like boxing is patience. Boxing is timing. Boxing is more than just going at and attacking. It's like MMA is more like, I would say like hip hop, like breaking and then and boxing is like waltz. It's just two different types of movements, and you can't go into waltz from hip hop and make it easy. It's very hard to do. That's why I will never ever take anyone against Jake Paul. That's not a boxer. If you're a boxer, you're gonna lose this to this guy. It sucks, but it's the truth.
Okay, I'll agree. There's a cadence to it. There's a rhythm.
No, I'm just saying, like,
sure.
you have to, like, Jake Paul is a boxer. Unfortunately, even though he's a YouTube star, he boxes more than Tyron Woodley has.
His discipline of choice is boxing.
Yeah.
He's more trained. So when you look at somebody's time dedication into their skill set and the fact that he's so specialized, and boxing, they call it the sweet sport, I think, or like the sweet art.
Sweet science.
Like
Sweet science.
the sweet science. There you go. The sweet science. The Mayweather is like one of the greatest to watch because it's very much like a dance when you watch him, because his control of distance, his control of flow, the rhythm, the cadence, it's very beautiful to watch. And this is why it's called a martial art, right? So there's people, and it was I can talk about this for hours. Literally, I love this topic so much. Martial arts was designed so that the smaller person could beat up the bigger person. And so the focus is all on technique. The focus is all on physics. And the person who just has had more time practicing these techniques will likely win.
Agreed.
That's the case. So now you put him against somebody who's a boxer, like Nelly said, then there's probably a good chance that he might get checked. But if you put him against anybody who's not trained specifically for boxing, because the rules are different, the flows are, everything is so different. If they're not trained for that, the guy has an advantage. Even if they're a pro fighter in the MMA, and if they come fight somebody who's just been trained to be, and his trainers aren't lackeys, by the way. Like Jake Paul has really good trainers.
Right.
Yeah, right. And also I saw an old clip of him and Mayweather because they're actually they're cool. They're friends. So let's be real about that, y'all. They're actually
Trust me, I'm lying. Read the book. Trust me, I am lying.
They're actual friends. I'm telling you. I feel like Mayweather is probably the one who told him to go into boxing. This is trust me. Mayweather is behind all Jake Paul brothers. Y'all think this is a joke? This ain't a game. Anyway,
they coordinate all of this stuff. They synchronize all of these press releases. Hey, I'm going to take your hat. Okay. And then you have to be really, really mad. And then you have to attack me, make it look real. Cause it needs to be, you guys, come on now. Well, but, I mean, publicity, PR, media. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. This is America. She said it earlier. It's like, how could you sue somebody? How could you sue the NFL over? And then her response was, it's America.
It's America.
It's the American way.
The land of all kinds of opportunity. There is so much opportunity in this country. Goodness gracious.
All kind of thing. I might move down there just now. Go ahead, Fahim.
No, all I was going to say was you mentioned Floyd and I guess the Paul brothers and their affiliation. Sure. All I can say is we've just mentioned about Jake Paul being strategic, choosing his opponents. Which is clearly a page out of Floyd's book, where later in his career, Floyd happened to be strategic, chooses. So, I mean, but that's boxing 2020, 2021. That's of our time, right?
It's a new world. It's a new world.
Definitely. So
it's probably the deepest part of martial arts is like, be selective about who you fight. Know what fight to walk away from and know what fight to get into. That's like, it starts before you even get in the ring.
True.
You guys are awesome, man. This was fun. This was dope.
All right, so let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, this was episode 60, AA 60. So Arman, we love to give our chance to do a shout out. So the floor is yours.
First and foremost, shout out to you guys, because this is actually dope. Good rookies. Let's go.
Awesome. No problem. Nice. So any more to your shout out? Do you want to shout out any?
Sure.
Any
for all of your financial consulting needs,
thank you.
Please visit us at officially Arman. My DMs are open. I'm more than willing to have any kind of conversation about finances, business, anything like that. Our job is to make this process a little bit easier for people. So if there's anything that I can share that will help you get to the next level with your financial goals, I'm all game. Anything from income generation, tax shelters, asset management, insurances, debt settlement, anything. Talk to me and let's get it going.
Dope. Awesome, Arman. My shout out is going to be to you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing wealth knowledge and financial knowledge. Because I think a lot of times for first-time immigrants, people who are coming here, they don't know how to be successful in America. So y'all, don't forget, don't make money for time. Okay? Don't do that. Talk to Arman. Check him out. Get into his DMs. And get some good knowledge, y'all, for real. My second shout out is to Bubba Wallace. He became the first Black driver to win the NASCAR Series Cup since 1963. Bubba Wallace, as y'all know, is under Michael Jordan's NASCAR brand, which I think Jordan just bought. Was it for him last year?
Yes,
yeah, last year. Right. That's right.
So we got a Black owner who had a Black driver, and he won the first since 1963. Like, whoa, that's wicked. So big up Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan. For him.
Would you guys be down to do an episode just on Black athletes that became like tycoons in business? Like,
of course,
there's so many great stories, and I really want to dive deep into business and sports and just the business of sports. I think it would be amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
If you guys are more than, if you're willing to have me back on.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not trying to invite myself to your house. That's not
no. After this episode, you've definitely worked your way in our books. You're definitely a friend of the podcast.
Yep, returning guests for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, what's up, West Coast? We're out here representing. Let's go.
These Lakers fans are rowdy, y'all. They're real rowdy, boy. Go ahead.
Okay, Brooklyn, and you're in Toronto, Brooklyn. Let's go.
I'm gonna keep this quick. Arman, really, pleasure to have you on. Definitely. I was gonna say this regardless of if you've said that or not. Definitely have to have you back again. And really impress anyone who you should check him out. Officially Arman on IG. Has a lot of posts, and the great thing is, yes, he's in LA, and there's a lot of things in regards to maybe laws and just difference in regards to taxes and everything between, say, Canada and the United States, but it's all the same. It's the same kind of logic regardless. Like, even though it might be maybe American based, there's still a lot of gems you can take in regards to just independent thinking that he does drop on there. So definitely, if you have a chance, check out Officially Arman on IG, and let's put this episode in the books, Nelly J.
Episode 60.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to all coasts of Canada. And I think there are a lot of similarities actually between the two economies, and I think a lot of the stuff that applies down in the US applies up to you guys too.
Oh, for sure. So y'all, this is episode 60. If you had a good time, if you enjoyed yourself, please like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube or wherever you listen to us. Fahim.
You know where to find us if you're looking for us. We're on all platforms. That's Good Rookies Podcast, episode 60. And we out.
Peace. Thanks, Arman.
You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys are